Welcome to Seven Trumpets Prepper Channel. And guys, welcome to another edition of the Hard Truth Show. Guys, I want to say I apologize for not being with you this last week. I had been out of town in Florida, and when I got back, I just wanted to spend some quality time with my family. So took a week off from doing the live stream. But today, guys, I want to tell you, we got a lot to talk about. We got bank failures, CBDCs, robots, AI, and the end of the US dollar. Now, if you have any question as to whether biblical prophecy is being fulfilled, I think the past couple months has been a real highlight reel of the book of Revelation to really set the precedent from the River Euphrates drying up to all the things going on with tampering with people's DNA to setting up complete totalitarian financial systems to, man, robots trying to kill us all, AI, the works. Baby, we got it all right here. Guys, real quickly, if you're new to the channel, make sure to also check out the link in the video description below over to Odyssey. Also, you can make sure and give me just a second, guys. I meant to add one more slide right here for the new, well, it ain't so much new. I just haven't worked on it in a while, and I'm picking back up on it. Is you will see very shortly at Black Flag Crypto Mining Co. That's my other YouTube channel. You can check it out. It will be streaming new content here very soon. I've got a complete off-grid crypto mining facility I've been building on the sneak. And so you'll be seeing that over on that channel soon, and how to crypto mine and how to be financially stable and have passive income and all that stuff. If you want to check that out, make sure to go over there and subscribe as well. Links for all that's in the video description below. I always stream this on Sabbaths, either if you want to check out World/Chance Calendar app, it's free at the Apple Store or on the Android platform, and you can check it out there. And like I said, it's free. And I either do the stream on Sabbaths or the night before, and then on new moon days at 12 Eastern time, if you want to catch me on here. And just a highlight reel of what we've covered here lately. If you want to go check out the playlist over on the channel here, is we talked about the great river Euphrates drying up, prophetic sign of the last days. Talked about that you may not fit in modern society if you believe the following. Talked about DNA modified humans and animals, days of Noah. Sadly, Joel couldn't join us that day, but me and Akeem chopped that up. Dissecting Agenda 2030 and what it's really intended to do. And today we're going to be talking about bank failures, AI, CBDCs, robots, and the end of the US dollar's power in the world being the superpower that it always has been. And a lot of this stuff, guys, if you pay close attention, this is a highlights reel out of the things that we've already kind of covered, is the Sustainable Development Goals and the Agenda 2030 thing. A lot of this stuff is just playing right in because they want you to obey. All right. And the church house is asleep at the wheel too. If you think that you're probably being told the right thing at the church house, if you do not do your own diligence, do your own research, do your own studies, you're going to be in a bad spot when stuff really starts to hit the fan here in the very near future, in the interim that we're in right now. All right, let's cover a few comments, and then we're going to get this party started. Shalom, much love to y'all. Great to have everybody in the building. We're getting a lot of comments already filling in this morning. Absolutely, much love to you as well. All right. Yes, shalom to you all as well. All right, so guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of start with a flow chart, doing this off articles today instead of like usually I do a excuse me. Pollen is crazy where I'm at right now. I painted something the other day, a piece of electrical equipment to go in the crypto mining building, and it literally was covered in like this green sheen of pollen. Whew. Anyway, I'm going to do this as like a flow chart of articles because that one thing kind of snowballs into the next thing, successively. So that's kind of what I plan to do today. And guys, right before we get started, last thing is make sure to like, share, subscribe, please hit the notification bell. And if you'd like to help support this channel financially, links in the video description below. Please PayPal or Cash App. That would be much appreciated if you do decide you want to contribute. And also, I'll be paying the state park for the rental place, y'all willing, for the Feast of Weeks celebration. I think we're going to do it the day before for a meetup. That way people are not traveling on Feast of Weeks. And then that way we can also kind of fellowship, but you're not traveling on Sabbath. I'm trying to figure out a way to meet everyone in the middle so that we can all have a good time together, fellowship together, but not break the Sabbaths and stuff. So that's a creative idea I had for Feast of Weeks this year for that meetup. And I'll be posting that information up soon if you're in the East Tennessee or the Southeast region area and you'd like to get together, because the last meetup we had folks from Kentucky and all around. It was good. It was a really nice meetup. All right. Without further ado, let me get the screen share going here and we will get this going. The first article that I want to cover, let me see, this has got it mixed up on how I've had this. Bitcoin. Sorry, guys, give me just a second. Things got jumbled around on the screen share. So let me pop over a second and make sure this is sharing the screen. All right, it is. All right, now you can see here, it says this is on CoinDesk. For anybody that's in the crypto world, CoinDesk is a real great article. Or has some great articles to read and stuff. And, oh, absolutely great comment right there. They're speeding things up so fast to get caught up with the Agenda 2030. By that time, they're going to merge humans with machine and AI and be immortal. Crazy stuff. And yes, the pollen is absolutely out of sight, sis. It is just wow. All right. So what we got right here is it says Bitcoin set new record of daily transactions the same day the U.S. government quietly engineered a bank buyout. Now, I know a lot of you guys don't support cryptocurrency. To me, it's the opportunity to run a parallel society because the central bank digital currency thing is going to be a thing soon, and the greenback dollar bill is going to be phased out, and you're going to be living in a cyberpunk dystopian future, just like I've talked about in the previous stream before. So you can like kind of get on board, or you can just kind of be on the sidelines, but they're going to be doing what they're going to do, whether you want to be participatory in that or not. All right. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to read down through this just a little bit. It says the events are unconnected, but crypto has a role to play in the wider political realignment, questioning the sanctity of central banks and established powers. All right. Now I'll have the links to every single one of these in the video description below. Whenever I am done with this stream today, I will be posting them in there. Okay. That's the only thing I didn't get done today, guys, before I start the stream. All right. But it says here, the U.S. government worked behind the scenes with two major banks to engineer the latest financial rescue plan. The Bitcoin network hit an all-time high for the number of daily transactions processed. There were more confirmed transactions than it ever had in its 14-year history, beating the previous record set during the 2017 bull run. Today, JP Morgan Chase has acquired First Republic after the distressed bank's assets were seized by regulators, becoming the second largest bank failure in U.S. history. All right. I'll leave that up right there for a second so everybody can read that, and you can read the depth of that article later on. What I want to point out is this. Number one, all right, banks are going to be systemically destroyed. Okay, systematically, they're going to be destroyed. There is no, to me, I've talked to people that are well-versed in the crypto world. And listen, I know we're talking about money on Shabbat today, but it's not that we are talking about money. We're talking about that this is the tool that's being used at the moment to destruct things. Is that I've talked to everybody, and I have my own opinions, you know, and as a libertarian, I respect other people's opinions. I stay in my own lane, blah, blah, blah. But I really wanted to know what was going on in people's heads. And so I inquired and I asked people, I said, what do you think of the current situation with FTX and all this that went down? Because I'm like, that was deeply tied to Solana. It was going to be the first tangible product where that you could actually have something that is used with blockchain technology. And yet they brought that down. And then I turned around the other day and like Truist Bank, I bank at Truist. And then I have a local bank that I'm actually two local banks that I bank with too. And then I looked at it, and Truist, and I think it was US Bank, and some others are getting in bed with the government to do this FedNow rollout thing, which I've got another article on that in a minute. And I don't want to segue into this stuff too quickly. But what you see is a consolidation of power. Now, we've seen in the way back in the day, whenever gold was made illegal to have, and then whenever the government took it all up, then they turned around and sell it back to everybody. We've seen all these power plays and maneuvers, and now the newest thing, and I think the final card play, is to move everybody from the greenback to the digital CBDC. And the thing is, I took my wife shopping at TJ Maxx the other day and bought her some stuff. And I was standing in line, and as I was standing in line and paid, this Verifone pad thing or whatever is like this freaking big. And I could lay my card, the whole card on it, and it would, take the tap to pay thing. I could easily put my hand on it and scan it if I had RFID chip in my hand. I'm just saying, like, they're really getting queued up for this stuff. It says, unless those days be short, no flesh will be saved. Men will desire to die, but death shall flee from them. It's appointed a man wants to die because the sin and evil we got in us. Here's the deal. If Messiah does not come back in the very near future, give another generation, most people will be DNA corrupted and contaminated so bad that there will be nothing worth saving, because there will be no remnant of what is even a normal human being again. Period. I mean, it's just what it is. Oh, all right. Give me just a second, guys. Let me do this now. Let me take and X that one off. Let me stop sharing that. And give me just a second. I'm going to scroll this up. Okay. Now, the next thing I want to share. Sorry, guys. I'm deleting these off as I go because I don't want to bog down the tablet today I'm streaming off of. Wow. Now, I have heard about this. I've heard about the doors and stuff being closed down and things. I'm telling you guys, I've started growing my own food here. It is getting wild out here. All right. Now, the next thing I want to share is let me do this one first, and then I'll go to the FedNow. All right. So the next thing. Oh, my goodness. This is madness. Everybody wants you to spend $1. Let me see if it will stay right there for a minute. I just want to show y'all the header. Of course, it's going to keep doing it. Guys, this never goes on my phone. It drives me nuts. But it always does it whenever I'm trying to show it to you. But let me read this one to you off my phone real quickly. All right. And I'll put the link to the New York Times article, because if you do this one off your phone, it did not do that to me. Give me just a second right here, and I'll read it to you what it says. All right. The article says, in an unsteady banking industry, First Republic's problems stood out. It says the bank's rivals appear on firmer footing this time, in contrast with the widespread panic after the failures of Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank in March. There is a ton of information being shared currently about how many banks are actually going insolvent and the liquidity is not there. I'm going to tell you what's happened. Is if you look with time, you'll find, I'm just going to go full screen for a minute on this, because for some reason that one's just a bust, and I apologize. Let me go full screen for a second. Let me explain this article. That article, if you go to the New York Times, the First Republic's bank's failure. Okay, if you just search that on New York Times, plus, like I said, I'll have a link video description below after the stream. What they go into is breaking down how that so many of these banks are actually insolvent. And the thing is they've lended out money to people that, like that. I think the lending thing is they can lend $10 to every $1 that's actually in the bank or something like that. It's a crazy leverage on it. And whenever they've handed this stuff out, a lot of stuff has come back void, where the thing, people's defaulted. And we could just go knee deep into stuff. And I don't want to talk too much about financial stuff today. I'm actually trying to breeze through this subject so that I can get into other things. But what you'll see as it goes forward is there is a whittling down, is that I think the government, if I was the government, and I am smart enough as a simple day-to-day guy on the street, I would not try to destroy every bank on the corner. Okay, I need people working for me, just like a cartel needs people in the fields making the product. They need people running the show, protecting it. And they need people pushing it. And they need people on the street, and they need people consuming it. Just like pharmaceutical drug sorcery companies don't want people healthy, and they don't want people dead. They want you right smack dab in the middle. Well, the government understands, I believe, at this point, they have a couple things going on. Number one is to control it all. They're still going to need some banks. They need minions. Okay. They can't do this on their own. So they need to figure out which minions are best fitted for them. Secondly, they understand that cryptocurrency is a viable thing. Now, one of two things has got to happen. They've either got to kill cryptocurrency, or they've got to accept the fact that it's a security. And if they accept the fact that it's a security, then regulation will have to be put in place, and then they'll just have to run with it. There's things that's going on, that there's this massive consolidation of power. There's this massive consolidation of financial power, and there's this massive consolidation of people's rights to life. Like I've said with the Roe v. Wade, you can't say my body, not my choice no more. All right. Ladies, you ain't going to be deleting babies, and folks, you ain't going to be telling the pharmaceutical drug sorcery and Uncle Sam that they ain't going to be jabbing you. They all about jabbing you now. Okay. And they all in bed together. All right. So that's going to happen on the very near future. You can bank on. Yeah, there will be tons of complications from people messing with stuff. Yeah, absolutely. That is for sure. All right, guys. Now the next thing, and hopefully they ain't going to be asking for some subscription on this, because I've had this article saved for forever. All right. Let me get this off of here. All right. Let me get back to the screen. It says FedNow rolls out in July, paving way for totalitarian power and central bank digital currencies. All right. Now I'm going to scroll through this article and read it. All right. Like I said, I seen this back. Oh man, I've held on to this for quite a minute. All right. Here we go. It says the Federal Reserve's FedNow instant payment system is rolling out in July, allowing retail banking clients to send bank transfers quickly, securely, and with minimum transaction fees using central bank funds. All right. It says the timing is suspicious. Why do they roll this out now? The banking system has done its job well in terms of making transfers of funds and payments. So why do we suddenly need to change it? Also, which is very sketchy, is that cryptocurrency, if you're wanting to do these things, there's already a platform for that. Like cryptocurrency already handles that. There's no need to reinvent the wheel, but that's exactly what governments are trying to do, is reinvent the wheel here. Werner, who has 3 decades of experience in bank and finance, including senior roles at Bear Stearns and Jordan Fleming's, pointed to the recent failures of banks like Silicon Valley Bank and Signature as a potential reason for FedNow's implementation. It's a setup. These things should have failed long ago. They just propped this up long enough until now it's an excuse. Just like the same day Bitcoin hit its peak, banks quietly got seized. They know what they're doing on the background. He suggested that central bankers would outcompete commercial banks through products like FedNow in an effort to dilute competition in the banking sector, bringing about totalitarian control, because little tiny banks and hometown banks won't be able to deal with that no more. Werner pointed in particular to central bank digital currencies, digital tokens issued and controlled by central banks, which operate as fiat money. Analysts have highlighted the fact that CBDCs could replace commercial bank deposits. And also, if Uncle Sam's mad at you, he can turn you off your digital currency too, just like that movie In Time that I've talked about before, INTIME. Werner compared the central bank to an umpire policing a soccer game who then decides to change the rules so that he can score goals himself. Obviously, the umpire will score and win games. He observed that's what happens when central banks issue CBDCs. Why? Because a central bank digital currency is an account at the central bank. A recent slew of bank failures saw Silvergate, Silicon Valley Bank, and Signatures Bank depositors bailed out by the government and Federal Reserve. Werner suggested that its ongoing banking crisis could be used to bring about CBDCs. The same people that create the problems are not the ones that should be providing the solutions, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just telling you. Now, another thing, too, is countries are developing their own digital currencies, including Nigeria, Bahamas, blah, blah, blah. And it's going to become a thing. All right. Now, the peer-to-peer transaction, if you don't understand what peer-to-peer transaction and paying people person to person, you better learn this stuff. because it's going to get crazy once that a lot of these countries get a hold on things to where that they can force people to start using central bank digital currency. It's going to get insanity mode. All right. And I'm telling you, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good in any way, shape, or form. Now, give me just a second. I want to see where I want to go with this next. Is that you got to understand that from moving from this to AI, you got to understand too that the reasoning behind what's going on right now, if you haven't seen that stream I covered about AI, I said that in 2025, it says that in 2025 that AI would be pretty much fully autonomous. Now we're in 2023. And most of, or at least on the pagan, satanic, papal, Roman, Gregorian calendar, we are from that viewpoint. But anyway, if you look at the situation here, is that on the march toward the mark of the beast and this beast system being fully implemented, is that if you consider up on the matter what we've got cooking currently, what you're going to have going on, sorry guys, give me just a second, I'm unplugging that right there so that don't pull more power, is what's going to happen in the interim is that you're going to see things slowly evolve, I believe, rapidly, but still at a slow pace, because at some point when 2025 hits, I think it's going to be like how Rona just happened and immediately everything slapped a brick wall. I think that's how it's going to happen here in the very near future. There's going to be a lot of things slap a brick wall, heavy duty. And guys, give me just a second. I apologize. I don't know why today there is so much technical difficulty, but for some reason that charger didn't want to charge good, and I want to make sure that is definitely charging that up so that we don't have an issue. There we go. I apologize. All right. So what we have next here is, if you look at this right here, this is Time Magazine. Okay. I'm trying to bring up trusted sources, and I'm sorry about the one from New York Times. But it says here that the pausing AI developments isn't enough. We need to shut it all down. All right. Now think about that. How people are in such a concerned mode, okay, that they are saying shut this all down altogether. And that right there should send warning flags up to anybody that has any common sense and understands what we're talking about here. If you look right here, they done the circuitry too to look like a nuclear blast. I'm just going to read this to you right here real quick. It says, an open letter published today calls for all AI labs to immediately pause for at least 6 months the training of AI systems more powerful than GPT-4. This 6-month moratorium would be better than no moratorium. I have respect for everyone who stepped up and signed it. It's an improvement on the margin. Says here, the key issue is not human competitive intelligence, as the open letter puts it. It's what happens after AI gets too smarter than human intelligence. Key thresholds there may not be obvious. We definitely can't calculate in advance what happens when, and it currently seems imaginable that a research lab would cross critical lines without noticing. Right here, guys, I'm going to tell you that these guys that are working on this, they really don't know what they're doing. Like, let me help you make this make sense. Oh, that's interesting. That's really interesting, DJ Deuce Mixtape support account. I did not think about that either. Wow, that's very interesting. You got to understand that a lot of these people, even though they're dabbling in this and doing all this stuff, guys, they really don't have a full handle on what they're even dabbling into. This would be like when I used to do off-grid contracting. That would be like me going out and slapping a bunch of wires on the wall that I don't know if actually can handle the current or the amperage or whatever, and just slapping a bunch of stuff together, throwing a system together and turning the on button and hoping for the best. Like, that's literally what these people are doing, but they're doing this with stuff that is self-learning. Like I've been seeing these things like they made this little robot thing or whatever, and then they now it was digital, it was on a computer, but they made this little digital robot thing on the computer, and then AI was told teach itself how to walk, and it kept going and kept going and kept going until it taught itself how to walk. And I'm like, this is terrifying. Like this, you're giving something the ability to compute and think at a level of quantum, and then you're giving it the opportunity to potentially want to kill you. Now, this is literally out of the pages of a Terminator movie. Furthermore, it was shown recently, I think it was at an expo, that they took a robot, they set it on the assembly line, they had it take and stack boxes from a shelf on a conveyor belt. They gave it the opportunity to think for itself and tell it that if it didn't want to stack boxes on the assembly line anymore, that it could self-delete. That was its option. And so after a while, the thing stopped, considered on the matter, and self-deleted itself because it found that there was no future, no life to be had if it continued to just keep doing the same thing. It reasoned that out in itself. And, you know, like right here, yeah, and they're also saying that it's going to have a will of its own and an agenda, more like an evil spirit controlling it. I would almost say that it's almost like we're creating a life form, but we're creating and I want to be careful how I say this, a life form on a level where then an evil spirit can control it. Like we're already fallen. Now we're going to create something that is almost, I would say, superior in some levels per se, and then still accessible to where fallen angels and things like that can still use this thing to do evil toward us. Okay. I mean, it goes way deep here, guys. But it says here, many researchers steeped in these issues, including myself, expect that the most likely result of building a humanly smart AI under anything remotely like the certain circumstance is that literally everyone on Earth will die. Not as in maybe possibly some remote chance, but as in that it is obvious things that would happen. It's not that you can't, in principle, survive creating something much smarter than you. It's that it would require precision and preparation and new scientific insights and probably not have an AI systems composed of giant inscrutable arrays of fractional numbers. Like, these are the people that's building this are telling you where this is headed. Furthermore, the other day, I think one of the guys at Google, older gentleman, stepped down, said he regretted making AI. They call him the grandfather pretty much of AI, and said that he regretted even designing AI because of what that he feared, I guess, that it would do to the human race. And this is the problem I have with scientists, is like every time I ever go to create something, like I've created, I don't know how many off-grid systems, and it increased the quality of people's life living off-grid. Like now they're free to live and have a peaceful life. And if the world falls apart, they still have power and water and can grow food and et cetera, blah, 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 and heat themselves. But I'm like, what you do with AI is like taking a wild lion and letting it out of the cage and expecting that the thing's just going to walk up to you and let you pet it and not rip your face off. Like that's literally the difference here, is like there's empowering people to do well, and there's empowering a monster and then turning that monster loose. And that's exactly what we're doing. Or, well, I'm not, but they're doing right here. All right. Now, let me take this one down. Let me see how we're doing. Oh, we're doing good on time today. All right. And then the next thing is, remember that if you have thought about it, the government, pharmaceutical, drug, sorcery industries, or somebody is doing it. All right. Now, here we go. This one says, in depth, it is Skynet, Pentagon. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me stop. Okay. Yeah, it's still sharing it. Good deal. Okay. So it says, it is Skynet. Pentagon envisions robot armies in a decade. The Pentagon's quest for an AI-dominated battlefield is becoming a reality. It says, robotic killing machines prowl the land, the skies, and the seas. They're fully automated, seeking out and engaging with adversarial robots across every domain of war. Their human handlers are relegated to the rear guard, overseeing the action at a distance, while conflicts are fought and won by machines. Far from science fiction, this is the vision of Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman General Mark Milley. The United States, according to Milley, is in the throes of one of the myriad revolutions in military affairs that have spanned history. Such revolutions have spanned from the invention of the stirrup to the adoption of the firearm to the development of mechanized warfare and now to the mass fielding of robots and artificial intelligence. It's a shift in the character of war, Milley said, that's greater than any to have come before. Today, we are in probably the biggest change in military history, Milley said during the March 31st discussion with Defense One. Now, let me just tell you all right now, these people, they ain't playing around. They will leave you leaking out in the streets. All right. This is dead set in these people's minds to create this insanity and unleash this insanity. Man, I don't even know where to begin to dissect this down, but I'm going to tell you between the whole Skynet thing they're saying, like Terminator, you got to understand, folks, we are at the point where fiction is imitating reality. Like Orwell's 1984 is up on the threshold. The Terminator movies are up on the threshold. Like, this stuff is legit. And you're watching it all take place. Like, I'm kind of dumbfounded. Just as little as 3 years ago, some of the conversations we're having right now. Now, let me put it this way. A decade ago, or I'm actually 13, 14 years in the truth now, is a decade ago, I would think these things may potentially be a possibility, right? But I wouldn't leave them cards on the table. Now, post-Rona, I am to the point where I literally think almost anything is on the table anymore. And the more I literally think that mindset, the more I turn around every day and there is another thing on the table taking place. Just unbelievable. Unbelievable. And here it is. But I'll tell you this. Whatever comes of this, it will not be good. It will not be good. And you need to understand that at the highest level of power militarily in this country, this is what is on the brain of these people. All right. This is what they're thinking about doing, what they're planning to do, and what they want to do. And when their mind gets set to it, remember, defense spending, it'll get spent on it. Man. All right. So, yeah, that's a great one right there. Elon has already said that they're unleashing the demon. He has also said that that is some crazy stuff, man, when it comes to this AI stuff. But anyway, you can check that one out. I'm telling you what, guys, I mean, right here, that people think, oh, well, that's cool. That's really cute right now. But you wait until that thing can actually carry an AR-15 or an M249 saw and kick your door in and blast your whole family away, and then it won't be so cute anymore. But this is what they're doing right now. And these guys, these techies, and these people that work at these things, they think they're just doing the greatest thing. Like, they're going to do stuff that's actually going to help humanity. Let me help you understand something. Everything that's new technology, usually the first thing it's used for is espionage, warfare, control, and then after that, it's handed down. All right. It is, I mean, it's just, man. Anywho, I mean, a lot of people, though, they will be excited to accept this, but I'm not down for it, guys. I am just not down for it. But if you want to read that article, you can definitely pop over and check that out afterwards. All right. Now, next thing I want to touch on real quickly, before I go to the U.S. dollar thing, I want to send a shout out to Brother Russell and Sister Margaret for this. I don't know if you've seen this. It's called Creative Society. These people this stuff terrifies me, because the more I look around, the more that there's going to be more and more of this stuff come about. You have the 8 symbol, where that the snake's eating its tail kind of symbol inside a pyramid, inside a circle. And it's like, I swear, I don't know what it is, these secret society people and stuff, and all these societies and all these, I don't even know what the right word to say is. All these just come togethers of all these people, the Bilderberg groups and the Illuminatis and the Freemasons and the Jesuits and all these people, man, their symbols and signs are always at the forefront, you know. And what was intriguing to me is down here that the man of sin, the first person they have here that has endorsed this, is been endorsed by the man of sin. It sits in Rome over the great whore Babylon, the Roman Catholic Church. And of course, America being the second beast of Revelation, the beast that come up out of the earth, out of the dry earth, that has two horns, that spoke like a looks like a lamb, spoke like a lamb, but is like a dragon, right? And I'm telling you what, guys, it is like a lamb but spoke like a dragon. I'm telling you, there is something going on here that every time I turn around and I see this stuff and people bring this to my attention, you always find the same power players and characters behind this stuff. So you already have the man of sin endorsing this, and then you already have the symbology there. And, right here, where is it at? Yeah, goals and objectives. Yeah, right here. So they want to create conditions for building a creative society on the whole planet by peaceful means, to ask people all over the world whether they want to live in a creative society, to provide a platform for global or international open discussion of the concept model of creative society and spirit of all life, to find new ways to unite the entire human. I'm telling you, listen, I don't know if somebody didn't get the memo, but there will never be unity on this earth until Messiah rules this thing with a rod of iron. Now, that's where I've concluded. And I'm going to tell you, just crazy, crazy stuff. Anyway, I'll just let you, that's just a little caveat freebie thrown in there today. I don't know how many people's already looked into that, but very, very, very weird. Shalom to you guys as too. Yep. The River Euphrates, it is definitely drying up. Yep. Covered a stream of that here recently. Yeah, that's very true, Cindy. I agree. Absolutely. That's where we're headed right there. Yeah. All right. Now, let me see. The last thing, guys, that I want to screen share on this and then give some of my opinion on this stuff is the next thing right here. This one is becoming a topic. It is becoming quite the topic out here, is that the end of the U.S. dollar as we know it. And everybody's talking about the U.S. dollar. Man, there's so many pop-ups whenever you try to read articles, and there's just ads on everything anymore. It is just crazy. I remember back in the day when you used to read an article, it's just the article and then the header. And nowadays there's just stuffed everywhere. It says, will the U.S. dollar lose its dominant status in global finance? The question has been asked for decades, probably as early as when the old Bretton Woods system of fixed exchange rates was thrown off the gold standard at $35 for an ounce of gold by the Richard Nixon White House in the early 1970s. But the question had concerned mainly economists and politicians while being literally academic for most people. Now, though, it is in many people's minds, thanks to the Russian-Ukrainian war, Washington's financial warfare, many ordinary Russians suddenly find they can't access Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Apple Pay, Google Pay. Foreign goods and services have become limited, prohibitively expensive, or completely unavailable. The banks they use can't help them make overseas business transactions or money transfers because they've been cut off from SWIFT, the global messaging system for international payments. All right, and you go on down through this thing. Let me break this down for you real quickly. I'm just using this article right here to touch on. Is that between the BRICS nations and everything else that's popping up right now, they are trying their best to bring down the U.S. dollar. And they are trying to remove America from being able to be a financial superpower. And the thing is because America has, and of course this comes through, the CIA dabbling so much too, is that they are doing so much dabbling in other people's affairs for so long that what has happened has come to pass is that we're in a season where that everybody's like, okay, you know what? They're not going to play ball with us. We'll all take our ball and walk, and we'll play ball together. And that is exactly what is going on is between Russia and between Brazil and who else is it? There's so many nations on that list now, and so many more willing to sign up to create a new currency, that this is the direction they're headed, is they're going to do their best to cut America off. And I think this is also why things are being accelerated that we're headed toward a central bank digital currency. They need to get out in front of the other nations on that. And also, they need to figure out what to do with crypto because it's a competitor too. I mean, think about it. Your next potential probably president will be Mr. Trump again, I would imagine. They'll put him back in the House for a bit. And he's already said he don't want anything competing with the U.S. dollar. So, there'll definitely be that going on. I think it's one of the dumbest things ever. Is what we need to do is do what, oh my goodness, Central American company that just accepted Bitcoin. Oh, El Salvador, I believe it was, accepted Bitcoin as a secondary currency. That's exactly what we need to do here. It would absolutely help this country tremendously overnight. Instead of trying to go at war with it, become accepting of it, because people would put faith into the crypto, and it would definitely help this country financially. But they don't want to be hearing none of that noise. They don't want to hear what I got to say. And I'm telling you what, though, between everything that's going on currently, if you look at the direction that everything's trending, between the AI control, between the central bank digital currencies, between robotics, between the death of the US dollar, we're definitely watching the second beast of Revelation really start to get the squeeze, because the nations of this earth hate this country. They hate this country. I don't even know where to begin to put in full perspective how much America is hated around this world. But I'm going to tell you, I've traveled extensively in the 36 years of life Most High has granted me on this earth, and there's a lot of people don't like us. And now I've had a lot of friends that's went over and fought in the sandbox and traveled even more than I have, and I'll tell you what, they can tell you, we are not welcome in many places, and they hate Americans just as much as they hate America. And this situation that's going on right now, especially with all the things that America is doing to bring about robotic AI and destroy financial institutions of the world, and then hurt other countries around the world, their financial institutions. Like, it is getting wild out here, and you are watching things go on full meltdown mode. All right. And guys, we need to be mindful of this, because we need to be making plays in the background to insulate us, because I know that believers are going to be hit the worst whenever this comes, because now non-believers will just assimilate and go with the system. What we're dealing with right now is being in the world and trying not to be of the world, but we also have to function. Well, the situation at hand, though, is putting people into a paradigm where they're going to have to function, assimilate, and then still try to survive. And I cannot assimilate. I have to function, and I will refuse not to survive. I've got to make it. And yeah, there's some good channels right there. I'll definitely pop that up, Uriam. Yeah, I've watched some of that content on other channels too, and share that for a minute so people can watch some of those. But guys, I'll tell you what, if in the next 6 months we don't see, here's the deal. You gotta keep this in mind. For those that understand crypto, we're getting queued up for another crypto bull run, and then there's going to be another halving of Bitcoin. And if I'm the government, I would want to systematically time this out so that I destroy what I need to destroy in a timely manner, so that it perfectly coincides with things that would be an opportunity for other people to help them. What I mean by that is if you're a cryptocurrency miner like myself, and you're using it to help your family survive, you definitely want to time that out so you self-destruct that as well, so that people that's trying to operate outside of the terms of the system cannot exit the system. I just see a lot of the writing on the wall, and I'm telling you, if you're not being aware of these things that I shared today, you definitely need to get aware of this. Man, that's crazy. All right, guys. So listen, next week, I think I'm going to be doing a stream about the importance of the new moon, because I've had people that are close to me ask me, how did I arrive at keeping the new moon at the way that I do? And so I think I'm going to share some scripture on that, and I think I'm going to do a presentation about that. But now, if I don't feel like I got enough of it put together in a very clear, concise manner. I may do it the following week after, but nevertheless, that one's definitely on my to-do list coming up. And I think that will be a very helpful stream to people. And we haven't really went like hardcore into scripture lately in a while. I've covered a lot of things that's current affairs, and that although that is very helpful, I think it's very important to stay in the Word too. But I mean, this show talk about everything: relationships, politics, faith, money, everything, prepping, you name it. The end of the day, end of days. So I think that would be very important. And said, yeah, it's definitely getting wild. Yep. Definitely. Things are definitely changing. Well, I mean, people, I'll be honest with you. I think the most hated person in the world right now is the white man. Well, now I take that. I think it would be a strong 50-50 is because that the so-called black man, many of them are descendants of Abraham and are the true Hebrew Israelites. I think that that's why a lot of them are being hated. But behind that, or a strong second place, I would say is the white man, because of so much strife, conflict, and drama that has been caused in these past 100 years by people that are kind of the color I am. They have caused that to be brought about too. So I would say that's probably two of the most hated bunches of people in the world right now. But yeah, I agree 100%, Tess. I think we are right there on that threshold. Absolutely. And we're watching take place at accelerated time. And I got to be honest with you guys. I really hope something sorts out positive, or either whatever's going to go down just goes down sooner than the latter, because I am getting exhausted dealing with the stuff that's going on. I mean, it is just it's just very, very insane how things are getting right now. Oh my gosh, here we go, people debunking the Hebrew Israelite thing. I ain't even getting in that day. So anyways, guys, I'm going to go spend some time with my family, and I will definitely see you guys in here, y'all willing, next week on the stream as usual. And as always, guys, until we see you again here at Seven Trumpets Prepper Channel, hope Most High Yah Baruch you and keep you, make his face shine upon you, show you favor, and give you shalom, my friends. In Yahushua and I. See you.